Hello, and welcome to Bytesized Godot, a series covering technical aspects and development tips for the Godot game engine. I'm Bryce Dixon, a professional game programmer with over a decade of game development experience ranging from solo projects to AAA studios. Today, I wanted to touch on a few of the more generic functions of the Object class: get, set, getIndexed, and setIndexed. As usual, today I'll be using a website I developed called GDScript Live, which allows programmers to test and share code snippets without needing to run the whole engine or make a project. First off, let's talk about Object.get. Simply put, this gives us a way to get a property's value using its name as a function parameter. Similarly, Object.set allows us to modify that property in the same way. Right now, these probably just seem like worse versions of the normal way we interact with an object's properties, but I'll get into an example of where they become useful pretty soon. Next, we have setIndexed and getIndexed. These work very similarly, but have the key benefit of allowing us to specify multiple layers of traversal. In this example, I only wanted to modify and read the x value of our vector2, without worrying about the y value, and I can do that by splitting each traversal layer with a colon character. The key distinction you need to remember is that the indexed versions of these functions take a node path parameter, as denoted by the caret character, while the plain get and set take a string name, as denoted by the ampersand character. You aren't actually required to use these types for literals in your code, as a normal string will be converted automatically, but I think it's good practice to be explicit. We can also see that this even works with multiple layers and custom classes. Even better, it will automatically provide safety if any layer of our node path is null. If I were to leave the child property of our thing class uninitialized, setIndexed and getIndexed will automatically break out early rather than produce an error or a crash. Now, to return to get and set, how can these be useful? In this example, I've created an update object function which takes an object to update and a dictionary of new values to assign, and a print object function which uses a few array and string functions to format the specified properties before printing them. I'd like to call attention to a few things here. First, neither of these utility functions need to explicitly know the contents of our object. The user can specify that. This is great for if you want to create an exported property which tells your code which property of another object it should use. Next, since I'm filtering the input to only consider keys which exist as properties in our object, it's totally safe for me to accidentally include this D key since it'll be filtered out. And the value of X in our object isn't being displayed since it wasn't explicitly requested. Finally, both of those things combined means we could easily use this to effectively transfer data between objects of different types without having to know either type. This final script is quite a lot, so I've left a link to it in the description, and I'd highly recommend reading through it and checking the documentation or leaving a comment if any part seems confusing. But the important takeaway is that this copy values function allows me to update one object with the contents of another, even if they're different types, so long as the properties I want to copy have the same name. This can be extremely useful in cases like data serialization, such as storing stuff to a file or sending packets over the network, and improving memory efficiency by reducing unnecessary copies of data. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to suggest a topic for a future video, please do so at the list linked in the description.